Hey and welcome to Live Love Lang. This is where we teach you how to learn multiple languages and how to go abroad. I figured out how to utilize this TV to give a more nicer chill vibe. So I should maybe chill my shrill teacher voice down and try to relate to you on a personal level. My name is Teresa, if I didn't say that already, and on this channel we give you resources to help you with your language learning, and we also share a lot of stuff for our personal language learning journeys. So we focus a lot on Swedish, Italian, Japanese, Korean, and Mandarin. So today I'm going to be doing an update of this video, because at that time I didn't have buying power, which means the books that were mostly in that video were hand-me-downs. They were books I inherited some way or another from friends, from school. They weren't the most representative of the books that I actually used. So today I'm going to actually show you books that I bought and got myself, and also since I moved from Japan recently, it means that I had to leave a lot of books behind. So these are the books that I really stand by and that I use all the time. I'm trying to be more of a minimalist with textbooks because I think it's ridiculous if you're gonna have all these textbooks just sitting down there and you never use them. I think it's so much better to have them and then hand them away to someone who could actually use them more than yourself. Without further ado, all my language books. I recently got a few new ones after just ranting and saying that I don't want to have a bunch of language textbooks and I'm trying to be minimalist. But to be fair, there's stuff that I don't have at all, and I got them for free on the bookship. And I tried not to pick up things that I wouldn't use. So this now is Taking Sides, and it is a textbook, a very thin one, about the study of controversial issues and also debate. And I thought it would be really interesting and help me with my writing and my study of English, actually, because on this channel I talk about it a lot, but I think you should first fall in love with your mother language, and the better you speak your mother tongue is the better that you will speak your target language, actually. The next one I got is also not a specific language book, but it is reading and study skills. Now this one is a fat mother baby, and it just goes to show you how reading and study skills are not something that we're naturally born with. They are totally difficult. It is something that we have to train ourselves to do, and it's something that we have to research. I have met too many people who think that reading and studying is just something that you're naturally good at and that it's only about the motivation and only about perseverance, but it's not. It's actually skills that you have to figure out just as much as you have to figure out what a grammar structure is or which words you're supposed to study. So considering how thick this book is, I'm really excited to see if I learn anything new or if I can find a way to elaborate or say something that can help you guys, you know? So super excited about this one. This one is not new. It's actually my little brother's, and he is 6 years old and was practicing writing, but it is a writing tablet, and half the book is used, but I took it from him because he's no longer using it. This was a K5 book, so that I could practice my lettering here and write in there, as well as I can write Chinese characters or Japanese characters on the lined papers, and instead of printing something or buying a new book, I could reuse his for my language learning. So I'm super excited and happy that I got to inherit this from him. Despite me talking about not inheriting things, I'm actually really happy that I got this from him, and I managed to snag it before someone threw it away. So the next section I'm gonna do is Spanish because I only have 2. Actually, I think that I don't really want to have more than 3 to 4 textbooks in every language eventually, unless actually, I don't know. I would love to have a big bookshelf of references, language references that I really believe in, but any book that I haven't really used, I'm gonna try to toss or give away. So, the first book, this is a new one as well, and it is called Pasaporte, Spanish for Advanced Beginners. So, I speak Spanish, and I did it all the way up until an advanced level. However, I haven't studied it in a really long time. It's been maybe 4 years or so, and so I'm a little bit rusty and perhaps not as fresh with the rules. I would love to go through something like this, which has a lot of reading passages, grammar points, specific tables. It's structured in a super advanced way, which I love. It doesn't pussyfoot around what I need to be doing and what I need to be studying, so this is it. Super excited to dive back into Spanish as soon as I finish my Swedish 6 months challenge, which will end in June. The other book, okay, this isn't really a textbook, but it's my only other Spanish book, and I actually really love it, and it is 𝕚𝕚𝕚𝕚𝕚𝕚𝕚, which means Treasure Planet. So if you guys watched this as a kid, you're probably spazzing out like I am, but I love this book. I love this movie, and so getting to read it in Spanish is really good for me, and you can actually study a lot from a primary source that doesn't explain things to you. You can write down one simple sentence and you can make lots of examples from it, you can find vocabulary from it, you can pinpoint grammar structures that you don't remember exactly and then find the references for it. You can actually get a lot out of a book like this, and it's simple but still long form, so there's enough here for me to really not get too caught up with everything that I don't know, but also enough for me to find new things that are not too simple. So actually I find this extremely helpful for me to pinpoint my problem points with Spanish. My next smaller pile is Japanese, and I'm notorious. I have a video about my favorite Japanese textbooks that you can also watch. I will link it in the description box below. I went to a Japanese bookstore and actually talked about my favorite textbooks because I have used a lot more textbooks than I actually own. Now, these ones are the ones that I feel to be the most helpful to me right now, and they are all grammar books. So I think next, after I really do a deep grammar scourge, I'm gonna be needing to get into kanji. So I'm not saying that you only need these books, but it's what I need personally right now. And I think that's the takeaway from this video, is that you should really have books that cater to you as a language learner and your needs right now. And then you can always get something else to supplement what you need later, you know, and you should always be getting books or sources based on what you need. And that might not always be a book. So in other words, you should figure out yourself what you need to learn a language. So the first book is Try N3. I use this with my coaching students a lot as well. It's because it's quite straightforward and simple. It doesn't give you too much things to be confused about. It's just the grammar structure, a few ways to explain it, not in depth, not a million different ways to explain it, just a simple way to explain it, and then examples and maybe a reading passage to go along with it, and some like 2 workbook sections where you can kind of do some exercise to test your knowledge. But it's super simple and super straightforward. It's hard to get confused with this book, and I guess that's the best part of this Try series, the N3 all the way up. I can also recommend the earlier books, but I think I like the 𝕎𝕚 a little bit more for the earlier levels because I think it's very important to get a sound base of knowledge. Now, I just mentioned the 𝕎𝕚, so I have 𝕎𝕚 N2 and N1 for grammar. These ones I wanted to understand a little bit more closely. See, my issue with Japanese is that I know how to speak, but I kind of don't know the specific rules. I kind of just know it, you know, so I'm hoping that by studying these grammars, I can know it more concretely, more evidently, more strongly, and not just intuitively, so that at any point in time, if someone questions me, I know the answer. Next is my Korean textbook pile, and trust me, I have definitely simplified these. I want to say I don't like 𝕚𝕚 books, I don't like 𝕚𝕚 books, so I'll just get that out of the way. I don't use them. There are a lot of books that I would like to have that I don't have yet because I A, don't have the money, or would not like to spend the money, and B, I want to actually get through these textbooks before I buy any new ones because I love these textbooks, so I would like to finish them and then build upon that knowledge with something else later. So here, what I have is 4 and 5 of 외국인 위한 한국어. 외국인 위한 한국어. Yes. So these are the HUFS textbooks. If you did not know, I went to HUFS for 1 semester. If you want to know more about that experience, I loved it. I will also link those videos down in the description. There is actually an entire playlist or something like that for my Korean journey. I love the classes, I love the textbooks, I love how it's structured, I love how simple it is. Like you can see here, it's got 4 grammar structures for each chapter. It does not overpower you, and then there are some exercises that you can try to remember. It's got vocabulary sections, it's got graphs to help you with also eventually when you're ready to get into topic. It's got dialogue like this, and some vocabulary at the bottom, as well as it has passages, and that's basically it for every single chapter. So it's very clear, to the point. Here are the objectives. Do you understand the objectives? That's basically it, and I love it. I love it, so that I don't have to waste time doing other things that might either distract me or make me feel like I'm being productive with busy work. That is like my least favorite part of majority of textbooks. Busy work. The next 2 textbooks I have are a little bit more supplementary. So the first one is News in Korean by Talk to Me in Korean. This is actually the second copy I've held because I gave it to someone else who was Korean and actually studying English, and I wanted to give him something to use. But this one is extremely helpful, and I think Natalia Garza is about to do a Instagram post about it. At the moment, as of right now when I'm filming, she hasn't done it yet, but she mentioned it in her story. So in other words, it's a super help for everyone. And everyone knows that I love Talk to Me in Korean. They are the first place that I recommend to anybody to study Korean. So how it works is you have in here a news article, and then it breaks it down sentence by sentence and helps you to understand each sentence separately so that you can kind of learn the tools to studying the language here. It's absolutely fantastic. There's a little quiz at the end of each news article as well to help you try and test your knowledge. As soon as I finish the next textbook that I'm going to talk about, I'm going to do this one page by page. My last Korean textbook is Hot Topic, and this one a lot of people talk about. I only have the reading at the moment. There is a reading, there is a listening, there is a writing, like one for each section of topic 2, as well as there's one for topic 1. But my weakest point is grammar and comprehension, like reading comprehension. So I did the listening and I passed for level 5, which is, I'm hoping to get somewhere between level 5 and level 6 when I take topic for the first time. I don't have a date at the moment, by the way. I'll talk about that in another video. I love it because, once again, straightforward. The tips are really clear. The whole thing is in Korean. With the tips, like, they specifically talk about how to test as well. They're not only talking about the knowledge of Korean, which is super important because a test is a test is a test, and you have to understand a test to be able to test. The vocabulary list that they have, it's like 100 or 100 plus words for each section, which is amazing. They have the book splits topic into both the kinds of questions that you get and as well as the kind of topics that come out on the test. Literally can't live without it. There's one more textbook that I would like to have for topic, but once again, I'm not gonna get any new ones until I have finished this cover to cover because I want to get as much as I can out of these books before I utilize my privilege to get new ones. I also have the tiny version of the Hot Topic, which is like, it comes in the back and it's basically the study guide, and it is the best thing to ever happen to me. Okay, the final pile that we have here is Chinese, and I should mention that I study languages outside of this. It's just that majority of them I use internet resources and primary sources instead of just this. For Chinese, I actually have quite a few, which I can show you. These 4 here, but I'm not really gonna talk about them because I talked about them in my first book haul video, my first video about all my language textbooks, and I haven't really made use of them since then until now, but I haven't gotten rid of them because I haven't really had a long period of focusing on Mandarin. In the second half of this year, starting from June, I am planning to focus on Mandarin, so hopefully I'll get to go through those. I'm not in love with all of them. I think out of these, my favorite one is this one, which is actually the oldest one, and I got from a class when I was like 12. And not a class, because I didn't actually take a class, it was my friend who was taking a class, but I was always hanging around there. And I like the book because it's based on conversational. It's called Conversational Chinese. and I like this textbook. The rest of them are more just like busy work, but I think the Chinese kind of needs a lot more practice, especially with the character aspect of it, so I haven't gotten rid of them just to see if when I go through them, if I can really extract any useful information or useful nuggets or exercises that could benefit me later. The ones that I did buy though, or the ones that I want to introduce to you, are books that I bought in Korea. Jajan! Right? So these books are called 𝕤𝕠𝕣𝕠𝕕𝕦𝕟, and I love them. They are so nice. So one of the things that I look for in books is not just the content, but also the way that it's set up and the way that it looks. Like, look how clean and beautifully illustrated these different chapter divisions are, as well as it really focuses on output. There are so many of those sections where you can write down things or have open-ended questions. The conversations are very interesting too. The explanations for the grammar are very clear. Of course, it's in Korean, so I'm learning Chinese in Korean, but if you're planning to work more heavily on the Chinese side, you can always use the internet to supplement your learning if you don't understand something, and do your best to not use English, which is something that I am very passionate about. So these two textbooks, I'm absolutely in love with them. I bought them when I was on my study date with at Korea with Kat, I think that's her handle. Anyway, we were by her and we went to a bookstore, and I couldn't help myself because I just didn't have any Chinese textbooks that were not hand-me-downs. So I wanted to make sure I got something that I thought could really help my language learning. Okay, and the last two books that I have to show you are these two, and they're actually English textbooks. There's one more book that I have, but I don't have it at home right now. It's called First Aid in English. But basically, as I said in the beginning of the video, I think it's very important to hone your own skills, and these ones, every page is basically just a basic correction or something to think about, and I love that because I can refer to it when I'm writing or when I'm thinking about other grammar structures, or just trying to keep myself in tip-top shape in English so that I can support my language learning and my other efforts in writing and in language stuff. So yeah, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. As per usual, every book I mentioned, if I can find the link, I will link them down in the description box below. It will all be there, as well as my links to the individual Patreon pages for Korean learners, Italian learners, Japanese learners. Is there. I don't have a Chinese Patreon yet, but we do have those 3 Patreons for anybody studying those languages, where we share our personal notes as well as tips, tricks, and sources that you can study with. Alright guys, bye! That's it for today's video, and we hope that you enjoyed it and it was helpful for you.
We produce these free videos with your support, so if you want to know how to become a patron, you can check the description down below, or you can search on patreon.com/livelovelang.
Get your free templates and vocabulary lists on our website, learningglobal.com.
Why are you waiting? It's free!
Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, comment down below, show us some love, and we will see you in the next video. Bye!